Right, I'd like to thank the viewers and listeners again for tuning in to another WKS podcast. I'm here now with Jason Kelly. How are you doing?
I am good, thank you, mate. Thanks for inviting me on the show. Much
No problem.
appreciated.
Yeah, no problem. Do you want to start by sort of telling us a bit about yourself, like where you got in, when you got into music and what you've been doing, basically?
Yeah, I formed a band just out of school. So the band is called Wounded Spirit. So we formed, God, back in the 80s. So we're talking 86, 87,
Right.
and just a bunch of kids who didn't know how to play instruments, didn't know what they was doing. So the first thing was to learn that there's six strings on a guitar, not four
Sure.
or three or two. Uh, but our goal was all we wanted to do was just write a song. So once we achieved that target, our next goal was to play a gig, and it kind of developed from that.
Mm.
So I think it was about 1992 we released a single, and Radio Two picked it. Radio One picked it up, and they played it, a song called 11 Months, 3 weeks, 6 days. And
Okay.
we just kept developing our songwriting from not knowing anything to learning and developing. And we did quite a few gigs in the mid 90s, done a tour of Spain. But like anything, you get a little bit older, you kind of get married, you have kids, you have a mortgage, and you know, unfortunately, we had to kind of put our music career to one side and
Mm.
become normal. Is that a
Yeah,
word
yeah,
for
yeah.
saying that?
No, I get what you mean on that one. So, yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, um, I'm assuming you've kicked back into that side again. You've got your music going again now.
Yeah, absolutely. So we disbanded for a total of 16 years. We're school friends and college friends, so we never fell out or fell out of touch. But we just had too much going on
Mm.
in our own lives. And then a friend of ours kept asking us to do this a charity gig, and I was in the pub. I was a bit drunk, and have you seen that? Remember that scene in the Blues Brothers where I've had a
Yeah,
sign from God and
yeah,
I'm getting the band back together?
yeah.
So I called everybody up at 3 o'clock in the morning, drunk, and told them we was getting the band back together.
Brilliant.
And to get me off the phone, they agreed. So we did the gig. Then that led to a new single. Then that led to an album, and now we're on our second album. But there's only two of us at the original band, so it's kind of a whole new band.
Did you keep the same name?
Yes,
Did,
the same name, Wounded Spirit, all the way through. We never changed
okay,
the name.
right,
Yeah,
fantastic.
absolutely.
All right, brilliant. So, how many? You say there's only two left, or you of the original band, but you've got obviously more members now, have you?
Yeah, so there's two of us at the original band, and we're a six-piece band now. So our new
Okay,
members, we got Mark Smith on keyboards. We've got Stephen Scaife on lead guitar. We got Darren Thorpe on rhythm and backing vocals, and we've got Rob Roberts on bass. So me and Elton kind of wrote the second album. From Elton's the drummer from the original band. We kind of wrote the second album, and then what we're learning to do now is learn how to play that album live.
right.
So during lockdown, when we can, we've been rehearsing the album to be able to play it live. So it feels fresh because we're a new band,
Mm.
yet we're not, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So, how your songwriting process then? I mean, who have you got very def? You said you and the drummer guy was the writers, if you like.
yeah.
So how does it work for you? How do you arrive at a song?
So we've been using we use Logic Pro a lot.
Right,
So we'll get an idea, maybe a loop, and from that will develop, and maybe we'll get a verse and a chorus. We use a producer in Cornwall who we've
right, yeah,
known for about 25 years,
right,
and he's produced both our albums. So if we kind of have an idea, due to his skill and his ability in the studio, we're able then to develop that song even further in the studio.
Mm.
So I would say when we have it at the songwriting stage, it's probably 50%. But
Right.
by the time it comes in the studio, it comes out 100%.
Mm.
As long as we've got like the verse, the chorus, as long as we can tell him where we want to go with the song, it totally gets the vibe.
Mm.
He's
Brilliant.
such a great guy to work with.
Brilliant. So, lyric wise, then, how easy is it to, to come up with the lyrics? Do you find it easy or?
I think I think on the last album, I found it a lot easier when I was under pressure. So
Okay.
a lot of the lyrics was written actually in the studio. So we'd written the kind of the idea of the song on Logic Pro and use what instruments we could. But the lyrics were kind of, I'd say, 20% done. But
Right.
then being in the studio, you felt that pressure, and then it kind of came to the vibe just came as well because the song kind of takes on a new
Mm.
dimension. You
Okay.
know, but any musician or and you'll know yourself when you're writing a song, it sounds totally different when you're writing it to when you record it.
Yeah.
It kind of takes on a new lease of life. And as the song developed, the lyrics then progressed with that.
Right. Okay. Brilliant. So how, obviously in the current times, how has the lockdown affected you musically then?
It's been, I mean, I don't want to complain because I know a lot of people have had it really tough. From a musical point of view, we financially, it's kind of bankrupt us because we put all our money into this second album, and I don't know if I can show it you. So that's the vinyl,
Brilliant.
and we invested.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great album. So when we was putting the money towards the album, we did a crowdfunder, but then we projected with the amount of gigs we had and the festivals, how many album sales we thought we would get from each gig.
Mm.
So we then knew how long it would take us to repay back the album. So we done it all ourselves. So we was our own record company, and any record company makes an investment.
Yeah.
So we invested in ourselves with a business plan that over the course of 12 months, we should be able to repay the album costs, studio costs, etc. Unfortunately,
Mm.
COVID, so every gig was cancelled, every festival, and yeah, my house has now got 60,000 albums in it.
Oh my God.
Only joking.
Yeah.
We've got a few thousand.
Okay. So, I mean, literally, the plans are on hold then, is it? Or have the plans just been totally scuppered?
Yeah, I mean, I would say on hold because we've still got some really good things in the pipeline. So we do plan. There's an opportunity to tour New Zealand and Australia in 2022.
Okay.
So we've still got that. That's on hold, and hopefully that's going to mature. But we won't know more about that till the end of the year. Regarding
Mm.
the gigs, it is totally when the government says
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
go
That's
for it.
it.
Nobody really wants to book
No.
bands, and it's really difficult. And I really
And a
feel
lot of the venues, obviously, when they start opening up, are going to be so short of cash anyway. So
oh,
it's going to be an absolute nightmare, really, isn't it?
it is, and I feel for everybody involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've had it difficult, but we've still got our health.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really, but some venues are going to have to close for good.
Mm. Mm.
And it's. I'm hoping the government's going to do. Hopefully, do a little bit more. Hopefully, when these venues do open, people are going to get back to live music,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Definitely.
hopefully,
Okay.
support the industry.
Yeah. What would you say your genre of music is then? That you play.
I suppose, when you listen to us, we're kind of a rock, indie, alternative pop. I know that's
Okay.
kind of making it very broad, but we're influenced. The second album, I feel you can hear influences of Simple Minds,
Right.
I feel a couple of the songs I'm into, like The Mission.
Yeah.
And
I know it's a t-shirt, and
yeah, Sister
you got
Mercy.
the U2 pictures behind you.
Yeah,
So
I'm a massive U2 fan,
right.
but I'm really influenced by The Mission as well. So we're
Mm,
really into our keyboard, synth, and guitar sound. So we kind of, on the second album, there's a couple of songs that you can feel that kind of gothic rock direction, even though it's not. But the synths and the guitars
yeah.
was trying to get that
Okay.
sound. Probably
Okay.
that sound Gary Newman's got now with the guitar and the synths. We was trying
Right.
to kind of get that really,
Okay.
really cool vibe.
Brilliant. Um, so like, if what two tracks would you say I could put up on against this interview that would really sort of capture your band's sort of style?
Um, I think I'll probably go with the ones that have been played the most popular. So the one that's been played, getting a lot of airplay in New Zealand, is a song called "Love, Emotion, Devotion,"
Okay.
and that is we've done a lyric video for that one.
Okay.
And the other track I would say that's really popular is a song called "Taking Back Control,"
Okay.
and that's a proper kind of pop video.
Okay. Well, I'll look them up and stick them up against this interview.
Oh,
Brilliant.
thank you so much.
Okay. So, what do you reckon the best advice you've been given is?
The best advice is it doesn't matter how many people say no, it only takes one person to say yes. And the day you give up looking for that yes is the day to get out of music, man.
Great
It's we
advice.
do we do this because we love it, and that
Yeah.
person saying yes could be someone just letting you play a gig at their venue. It could be someone putting you on a show like yours. It could be anything. But if you don't
Mm.
lock the door, no one's going to open.
Superb. Absolutely superb. So, um, if you were talking to a younger version of yourself, what advice, would you have given yourself and say, now? So you're talking to a younger version.
Wow, that is a good question, isn't it? Okay, okay. What the advice I would give myself is focus more on the music and not the women.
Way. I love it. Yeah, fair play, mate. Fair play. Um, we've spoken about musicians, obviously, that you admire. Is there one in particular, a musician that you think, yeah, that guy's fantastic or girl's fantastic?
The one I'm going to choose, or the band I'm going to choose, because I don't think they get the recognition they deserve. And when you listen to their music over a long period of time, especially the early '80s, they made some of the groundbreaking music going, but they don't get the recognition. That's Simple Minds. I think
Fair
Jim
play.
Kerr, Charlie Burchill, you know, their
Yeah,
early music was groundbreaking, and they just don't get the recognition. And I think their music is
yeah,
amazing, and the new music they're making as well is so good. And I think they deserve a little bit more recognition in the world, not just "Don't You Forget About Me." We all know that one,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
it's all the other albums they've made is unbelievable.
Brilliant. So, what music? What keeps you going musically? Then, what inspires you to keep going?
I just think we had that 16-year gap where we didn't actually touch. I never wrote anything for 16 years. I kind of didn't even talk about it. And I think we know we got some great tunes left in us.
Mm,
And for me, what I love about original music is when I leave, and I don't want to get morbid, but when I leave this planet, I'm going to be leaving behind something that'll be there forever. So
yeah,
it doesn't matter if we're famous or not, but someone will always be able to download or find a song by Wounded Spirit.
yeah,
That's forever, you know. that's the music I've written, and that can never be taken away.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how much money I've got in the bank, I'll always have
Your
those
mark
songs.
on the world, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It might only be a small mark,
Yeah,
but
I've got you.
It's there forever, man.
Superb. One daft question now. Do you sing in the shower?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
But I do kind of make noises if I'm just walking around the house, and all I can say is thank God for auto tune.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, same as me, mate. I mean, I try and harmonise with the guys in my band, and oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So, what's actually next then? I mean, the plan, I'm assuming, is to get the album out and gig. Is that, you know?
yeah. So the album's out now, so it's out on CD, on vinyl, and you can get that off our website. It's on all the digital platforms.
Right.
So we had to release it. It didn't go to plan due to COVID, but the plan is now we've got our own studio, so we've got a 24-hour facility, and the plan is to keep working on the set. We've got a few new tunes as well. So the idea being is hopefully we can play live come the summer, fingers crossed. But we'll definitely be doing a new video for our title track of the album as soon as we get the okay to do so. And then by the end of the hopefully by October time, hopefully get them dates in New Zealand, Australia confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully 2022, a lot more gigging.
Yeah, that's it.
And hopefully the third album towards the end of 2022. So we got a plan. We just have to keep changing it, but that is life.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't
All right. One final question. Is there anybody, well, it's not really a question, I suppose, but is there anybody you'd like to thank for you being here musically now?
Do you mean as in?
Could be anybody.
Anybody?
Anybody you'd like to thank for you, for you being here musically. I mean, I ask everybody the same question at the end, and it ranges from, or could be all sorts, mum and dad through Jimi Hendrix through whatever. Do you know what I mean?
I think no one kind of pushed me towards it, and I wouldn't say I'm from kind of a musical family, but I suppose the minute I knew I wanted to be in a band was, I think when at the first time I heard U2 live at Red Rocks under a blood red sky, and I was at my cousin's. I used to go to Dublin for my summer holidays when I was a kid, and my cousin just played it, and then I knew I had to be in a band. Then
brilliant.
I think that's that moment when I thought, holy moly macaroni, I want some of that. So that's when I formed a school band, let's say.
Superb, absolutely superb. Listen, you'll have to, if you when the gigging starts, I'm not going to say if, because I'm sure it'll all start,
Absolutely.
when we're allowed, and you come down this way towards Cornwall, let me know, and I'd love to see you live.
Oh well, I mean, our plan is definitely we're going to be recording in Cornwall again this year. The plan is to record a new single to come out at the very end of the year. But what we want to do is hopefully when we record there later in the year is to tie it with a gig as well.
Right.
So that is definitely a plan.
Well, definitely let me know.
And it's a beautiful part of the world as well.
Yeah, it is. It is actually. Yeah, I am lucky myself. I do believe
you are lucky.
Yeah. I mean, even though the wages are really low and all that sort of stuff, and you can't buy your house, and we go on forever on that score. But clean air, and I can look out at a beautiful sea. So yeah,
you can. And that's why we love coming down there. We come down there for probably a week at a time. And it's not just recording, but it's like a little bit of a holiday as well.
Yeah.
And it's a good atmosphere to record. We're kind of away from things, but we've also got the sea 2 minutes away.
Yeah.
From where we record.
Brilliant.
So it's a great vibe. we love it.
Listen, thanks so much, Jason, for giving me the time and talking to me. And good luck with everything, all your plans.
No, Craig, thank you very much for having me on the show. And definitely, hopefully, see you in Cornwall 2021, hopefully.
Yeah. Look forward to it. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. All the best.